This is possibly the most comfortable board I have ever been on. Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, my name is Ronan and I make vlogs and product and tech reviews. And today we're going to be reviewing the Meepo V4S or V4S. So in my last video, I unboxed the Meepo V4S, and in today's video, we're going to put it through its paces and see what the board is like and how it stacks up to the Meepo V3, which is the previous generation board from Meepo. I've come down to Watertown Park, which if you guys are familiar with my channel at all, you'll know that this is where I used to do my park runs. This is where I tested my Meepo V3 when I got it first, and that's why I wanted to come down to this park, because I wanted to test the new board in the same place that I tested the old board, just so I can get a real kind of like proper comparison feel. And then I tend to use my Meepo V3 in speed mode 4, which is like pro mode, so I have a feeling that I'll probably end up doing that with the new board. But the most exciting thing is that we finally get to put some kilometers on this new board. And then just one other thing to mention very briefly before we set off is that I have tightened up my rear trucks a good bit, but I haven't actually tightened up the front truck at all. So I have my T-tool with me in case I need to make any adjustments to my trucks. This is the first run in speed 1. Brakes are set to 4. Couple of things so far. I have the board in speed mode 3. I'm going to stick it into speed mode 4 now in a moment. Around here I'm finding it super smooth and super grippy, easy enough to turn. Like I said, I've got the front truck super loose, back truck is pretty tight, so I've had no speed wobbles. But also what I would say around here is that the surface that I'm on here is really good and really nice. But when I get further down into the park, the surface is good and it's decent, but it's a lot less smooth than it is here in the car park. So that'll give me a much better indication of what this thing is like on the roads and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so just come up the hill here, blazed up it, absolutely no problems whatsoever. Is when I kind of crossed from the car park into the main park, they have this like area where the concrete has like these little bumps on it, like circular bumps, like you would find at a pedestrian crossing and stuff. And the board went over those no problem, whereas anytime I've gone over those in my Meepo V3, I need to really kind of give it welly going over, because otherwise the wheels kind of stop and you can really feel it in your feet. This board just kind of like rolled over them, no problems at all. The other thing that I discovered just on the run up this hill, I just felt like my front truck was a little wobbly, so I'm just going to give it a little bit of a tighten. But I don't want to have it too tight because I do want to be able to turn and all that kind of stuff. Hopefully that's all the tightening that I need to do, and I will know very quickly when I go down here. Couple of things. That was a good run. I was going much faster around there than I ever went on my Meepo V3 in this park. Went through some kind of really deep gravel and stuff as well. Board barely noticed. The other thing that I just want to mention really quickly as well is that anytime I've had my V3 down here, after a bit of use, my right calf seems to like cramp up and get really sore. That hasn't happened. I feel 100% fine. So like definitely these 105 wheels so far are really comfortable to use. The board is a much stiffer deck than my V3, but also I'm finding that it seems to be like vaguely spongy almost. So like any of the vibrations that I've encountered so far, it's still super comfortable, and it's so much more comfortable to use than the V3. So those are my initial thoughts so far. One other quick observation that I'm having actually with the board in Speed Mode 4, because of the way the deck flares up where you stand, it feels like the board's much more forgiving when you accelerate away than it is on the V3. It's like you're locked in much more than you are on the flatter deck of the V3, which means that you can actually pull away a little bit more aggressively. And so far I like that. So it's kind of difficult to explain, but I can totally see why they say that this is a really good beginner board. So far what I'm finding is I'm using the board in its most aggressive setting and I'm just cruising around in it. And like at times I'm going faster than I go on my other board, at times I'm taking it easy. Like taking it easy now just I'm talking to the camera and I don't want to fall and drop the camera. There's guys working down here, so we won't go this way. But yeah, basically what I'm finding about this board so far is that like I just feel like it's super forgiving in a way that my V3 wasn't necessarily. So yeah, really enjoying just cruising around on it. Like I say again, this is a really easy place to test in because it's like super safe, it's super enclosed. I don't have to worry about cars or traffic. I am looking forward to testing this on my proper commute and really putting it through its paces there. But so far, this could definitely be my new daily commuter board because it's just so far way more comfortable than the V3 was. And it's just so easy to use and easy to kind of like throw around a bit. I know the deck flares, a lot of people kind of sort of say that your feet can get sore in those on long distances, so that's something that I'll definitely have to contend with when I go to work. But in general, so far I'm actually loving the deck flares because I feel like it's easier to know exactly where you should be standing and to like readjust and that kind of thing. So yeah, definitely finding that those deck flares are nice for me to use at least. I think this thing, particularly with these wheels, is worth every single penny. And what's great about this is it's a budget board. It's Meepo's entry-level board. I think if you are somebody who wants to get into e-skating and electric skateboards, this is a great place to start. If you're somebody who has boards and has used boards previously, I think this is also going to be just a fun board to use. Like I'm just cruising at 30 kilometers per hour here now, and I'm thoroughly enjoying myself. Hello, Mike, guys. About to come up over some rough ground here, so let's see what it's like. Would have gone over that a lot more aggressively had I not had my camera in my hand. Didn't want to fall or drop it or break the camera. But yeah, the board was totally fine, well able for that. Been riding this for a little while now, done 5.6 kilometers, and I have some thoughts. But before I go through what I think of the board, I just want to run through some of the technical specifications. This board comes with dual 540 watt motors, so that's these boys here. Both of these wheels are where the motors are. You can see these cones here, those are where the motors are, and that's what drives the board. The next thing is this board comes with 105mm donut wheels. So again, what you're talking about there are the polyurethane rubber sleeves on these wheels, and actually these front wheels as well, which are fully polyurethane. These are 105mm 78A geometer wheels, and they have like a honeycomb tread on them that just gives you a little bit of grip. So they're kind of like semi all-terrain wheels, which means you can kind of take them off-road if you need to. The next thing to talk about with this board is the range. There's the standard range version and there's the extended range version. Standard range version, which is the version that I have here, has a range of Meepo say 10 miles, and Meepo say that the extended range version of the board will do 18 miles. I haven't done a range test on this yet, so I can't confirm whether or not you'll get the full 10 miles out of it, but I'm hoping that you do. So I've done 5.6 kilometers so far, and I came down a bit of a hill there, so I was able to regenerate the battery back to kind of showing 3 bars on the remote, but it was really showing like 2 bars for a good chunk of my journey around here at 5 kilometers. My work is a 10.2 kilometer distance from my house, so I'm slightly concerned about whether or not I will have the range to get from my front door to the front door of work, but I will find that out when I do my commuter test, and I'm going to do that really soon. So the last thing then just to talk about with this board, and probably the most important thing for many of you, is the price. So this board, the standard range version of this board to buy from Meepo on their website is $499 US, but if you buy it at the moment, there's actually a discount on, so it's $419. And then if you go for the extended range version of the board, it's normally $659 to buy, but again, there's a discount on that, so if you buy it right now, it's $579 from Meepo. And I'm going to leave links in the description below to this board so you can have a look at it on the Meepo website and check it out if you're interested. Also, just be aware it's going to be an affiliate link that I leave down below, so if you do decide to buy a board, I'll get a little bit of a kickback, which then goes back into this channel, but don't feel obliged to use my link to buy the board. Okay, so now that I've kind of got the technical specifications out of the way, I just want to kind of give you some of my thoughts and opinions on the board, having used it now for maybe 30 minutes or so. First of all, I love this thing. I think this is a really nice board, and compared to my V3, so far I feel like I'm noticing a big difference. I just feel like I'm much more secure on this board than I am on the V3, and I'm pretty confident on my V3. Like when I'm using it, I ride it quite aggressively, and like I really enjoy using it, but I feel like with this I'm just much more locked in. I just feel like particularly when you take off with this board, I can take off like almost at full power and I'm locked into the board, and I don't feel like the board's going to go flying out from under me. Second thing that I've noticed is because these 105mm wheels here, you can kind of see they've got that like honeycomb grip on them there, so that's a really nice contact patch with the road. And what I'm finding is that these wheels really feel like they stick to the road when I'm on it. Like I was cruising around the park here and I was doing sort of 30-35 kilometers an hour for most of it, and like whereas with my old board I would feel like I was really hitting the limits at about 25 kilometers an hour, so I'm doing like 5 to 10 kilometers an hour more on the same corners with this board. So you definitely feel like you can go a lot faster with this than I can with my old board. The thing I was a little bit worried about was this is a much stiffer deck than the V3, and I thought maybe that would have like some kind of an impact on the comfort. And so far my experience has been that this is a much more comfortable board to use than the V3. On the whole, I'm super happy with this board. I can't wait to mount my shred lights to it so that I can use it as my commuter board. I think it is going to be my new daily driver, and based on my first impressions, I would have to say that I would highly recommend this board to somebody who's looking at buying an electric skateboard. So that's it for this video. I'm going to leave it here. I hope you've liked it. If you do, please give it a big thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel, and I cannot wait to be back to you guys with more Meepo V4S content in the future. Coming up in my next video. It just eats up the poor road surfaces really nicely. So I think my battery is dead.